Me and my friend got this invitation where we'll be talking about the most random of stuff like Twitter cosplayers or a local insurgency group. And out of nowhere he would go,
Hey, by the way, is there any news on Kakegurui Season 3?
Now, my homeboy doesn't even watch anime in the traditional sense of the way. He has only watched Naruto and one or two Netflix animes here and there in his entire life. Cause he quote, doesn't have enough time to waste watching anime. This dude spends his day playing Genshin. Yeah, but even this dude has watched Kakegurui. That's the thing about Kakegurui, even if you're not a hardcore anime fan, you have seen something related to Kakegurui. Whether it be you make a cosplayers, or you make a fan art, or even this astronomically cringy TikTok sound. Gen Alpha is grown on this shit. Every kind of nerd on the planet, whether it be gamers or weebs or VTuber fans, have seen something related to Kakegurui, including Elon Musk. Actually, this list is some of the nerds into actually watching the anime where they have met with
with you till the day I die.
and people either love this shit or hate it. Me and my homeboy love it. Kakegurui is edgy, it's over the top, it's downright fucking disgusting, and we can't get enough of it. Not one bit of sanity went into making this show. The staff said we're gonna make the female orgasm into an anime, and they did. Every law of fan service is broken in this anime. Instead of hot and sexy shots, we get the most ugliest, the most boner-killing facial expressions, and the most bizarre orgasm scenes ever. Like, the writers of Kama Sutra did not see this coming. But even after all of this, people still love it. I am people. The basic premise of the show revolves around this school where everything is decided through gambling. You can gamble almost anything. Money, your nails, your entire life, everything. The social hierarchy within this school is based on your gambling skills, with the lowest ones being treated as literal dogs, or cats in the case of girls. Now, you could do a lot of interesting things with a concept like this.
Let's make the ladies come.
No one is watching this show for its complex mind games. People are watching this to see crazy girls being crazy and crazy girls be. There is not one iota of sanity on display here. But to be fair, this craziness is what makes this show fun to watch. For retarded people like me. Seeing Yumeko permanently traumatizing the higher-ups of the academy through the power of sheer mental instability is stupidly fun. The core of this show is that while almost everyone in the school is crazy, Yumeko is crazier. She came into this school straight out of Arkham Asylum. Her opponents have a lot of experience when it comes to defeating other humans and base their tactics on that. But that means shit when it comes to the monster that is Jabami Yumeko. They can't even comprehend what they're looking at. Like, what the fuck is this? This dude was traumatized so bad he lost his hair color. Now, serious analytical talk. While this formula makes this show fun, it doesn't make it very memorable. Like, you remember the show, but you don't remember what actually happened in it. You don't remember any of the scenes. Because this formula gets repetitive. All the Yumeko orgasm scenes like merge into this one blob in your head. You can't distinguish one from another. You don't even remember the scenes they're a part of. Except for one. What makes a show memorable are its big scenes. Scenes that do things beyond the usual formula. And there are not many scenes like that in Kakegurui. Except for one. One scene that breaks this formula. One scene that is so amazing that I remember it clearly till this day. One can say this scene makes me orgasm. The scene I'm talking about is Suzui's gamble in Season 1 Episode 12. The entire last episode of Season 1 is a build-up to this scene. The only context you need to know going into this episode is that Yumeko and the president are finally having a showdown with each other. Yumeko is going to gamble against the most dangerous, the most powerful and the most psychopathic person in the school. The stakes are off the fucking roof. But this episode is neither about Yumeko or the president. This episode is about Suzui. Now let's talk about Suzui for a moment here. Suzui is the only sane character in this anime up till this point. He's a wimp, he's a weakling, he's a straight man in an anime of crazies. But this man has been hanging out with Yumeko since day one, and that has changed him. Yumeko has grown on him. He has come to enjoy watching Yumeko gamble and above all has become one of the only people who truly understands the true nature of Jabami Yumeko. And by this point of the series, he has come to accept all of her insanity and fallen in love with it. And by extension, fallen in love with her. He hints towards this at the very starting of the episode.
止めたいわけじゃないよ。一番近くで見たいんだ。夢子のギャンブルを。僕は夢子に見せられている。
In fact, the more you watch this episode, you will realize this entire episode is about Suzui proposing to Yumeko. Getting back to the episode, Yumeko's friends come to prep her up for a big game and they offer her ways to cheat to win. But she flat out refuses, saying,
だって念願の生徒会長とのギャンブルに不純物は必要ありませんもの。
I want you to keep this in mind because this comes into play later. Fast forward to the gamble and the game is as follows. They will place tarot cards marked 1 to 21 upside down on a circular table. And 3 of these cards need to be picked up. If the card you pick up is upright, you get positive the number on the card. But if the card you pick up is reversed, you get negative the number on the card. If after all 3 cards are picked up, the sum of the 3 numbers is positive, Yumeko wins. If the sum is negative, the president wins. Quite simple. But there is another card in the mix, and which is the Fool, aka the Joker of the game. If someone picks up the Fool and the Fool is upright, Yumeko wins right away. But if it is reversed, the president wins right away. And the punishment for losing the game is as follows. The loser will have to leave the school forever. That is a death sentence for Yumeko and the president. Because while the school is a dystopia for everyone else, for inhuman gambling addicts like them, who get immense pleasure out of gambling unlike anything else, this place is a utopia. Getting thrown out of this utopia is the biggest punishment you can give either of these two, even more than death itself. Now, as previously mentioned, 3 cards need to be picked up. Yumeko and the president will obviously be picking up the first 2 cards, but who will pick up the 3rd card? And our boy Suzui is chosen to be the 3rd card picker. He is now part of this gamble. And the game begins. First goes Yumeko and picks up the +1 card. Not good for Yumeko. Then goes the president and picks up the -21 card, the most valuable card in the game. Really not good for Yumeko because the sum is now -20. The only way to save this game is for Suzui to pick up the +20 card. The odds of that happening? 1 in 40. Almost nil. Suzui is now scared and hesitant. The card he picks up will decide if Yumeko stays at the school or is thrown out. Seeing Suzui hesitant, Yumeko casually remarks that he should just pick up a card at random. Because even if he picks up the wrong card, he faces none of the consequences. He has no stake in it. All of the consequences will be faced by Yumeko. Suzui is not the one in danger here. But here, Suzui replies that
それは違うよ。言っただろ。僕は一番近くで夢子を見ていたい。夢子ともっと一緒にいたい。これは僕のリスクでもあるんだ。
God damn! Sorry. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a confession of love. Now, while this is happening, Suzui notices a card with blue gloss on it, the same color as the president's nail polish, meaning this is a card that the president touched before the game, and the only card she did touch before the game is the Fool. If Suzui picks up this card correctly, he is guaranteed to win. Suzui touches this card for a moment with everyone's eyes on him. And rejects it to the shock of everyone. And to understand why, we need to talk about Jabami Yumeko and what makes her different from everyone else. You see, everyone in the school gambles so that they can gain something. Money, power, control, etc. Everyone gambles to win. And you're probably like, Neer, of course people gamble to win, whatever. Shut up! Because that is not the case with Jabami Yumeko. Yumeko is a gambling addict. She gambles for the sake of gambling. The greatest pleasure she has in her life is the unpredictability and the risk of a true gamble. She doesn't even care what the outcome is. The higher the risk of a gamble, the more orgasmic it is for her. If you ask her to put her life on the line for a gamble, that will literally just turn her on. Jabami Yumeko is an inhuman gambling addict. Gambling is a way for others to make money, but for Yumeko, money is a way for her to gamble. And that's why she was so offended earlier when her friends tried to get her to cheat to it. Because that will take away all the fun of the gamble. Losing or winning a game is an afterthought for her. Because once you get into a gamble with Yumeko, she has already gotten what she wanted. To gamble. And Suzui understands this very nature of Yumeko more than anyone else. And earlier in the episode, he also realizes there's another person who thinks the same way as Yumeko. And that is the president. And that's why Suzui refuses to pick up the fool. Because once the fool was marked, it wasn't his risk anymore. All the value of the risk related to the fool was lost when it was marked. It's kind of like the president took the risk for him. Hence, choosing this card for Suzui would be equivalent of giving up his freedom of choice here. It's like throwing himself out of the gamble itself. A riskless gamble, a freedomless gamble is a funless gamble. It makes the gamble boring. Doing that would be like spitting in the face of gambling itself, and doing that would be an insult to Jabami Yumeko, the girl who worships gambling and the girl he loves. As Yumeko watches on and on, Suzui declares that he will not pick up the fool, he will not take the boring choice, he will himself decide the risk he takes because this is his gamble. Yumeko has never been better. The insane glee and joy on her face as she watches a real gamble unfold in front of her is unlike any face she has made before. It's not ugly, it's not beautiful, it's the embodiment of her true nature. Extreme excitement and pleasure through the act of gambling. Suzui's words of confession before flustered Yumeko, but that is nothing compared to what she felt when she watched Suzui do a true gamble. This act is Suzui's true confession to Yumeko and his first gift for her. To experience the riskiest of gambles in its rawest of forms. To reject winning and choose gambling. In that moment, Suzui proved that he is a man worthy of the monstrosity that is Jabami Yumeko. Wow. In the episode, Suzui would go to pick up a card at random and he picks up the plus 20 card, summing the total to 0, ending the match at a draw. And of course that is some plot armor bullshit, but that doesn't matter because the outcome wasn't the main focus here. The main focus was the character of Suzui and his choice to gamble. The only normal and sane character in the entire anime showcasing that he can match up to the insanity of two of the biggest monsters in the series. With this, he gained the respect of both of these women, and as for Yumeko specifically, she looks at Suzui with what I can only describe as eyes of love and ecstasy. And that is my favorite and most memorable scene from Kakegurui. I love this scene so much. It's straight up genius. It gets me hyped every time I watch it. That is my highlight for the entire anime, unless season 3 puts out something as amazing as this, but I doubt that. Do I doubt that season 3 will have something as amazing as this scene? No, I doubt that season 3 will ever come out. Thank you for watching and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.